In 1968, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was born, once again inviting the world to believe in magic. Yet behind that legendary flying car lay stories filled with tragedy, quiet sacrifices, and lives far more dramatic than anything the script could ever capture. 1. Dick Van Dyke, a century of brilliance and the scars behind a legendary smile. When audiences around the world think of Dick Van Dyke, they instantly picture a refined gentleman, his spontaneous dance steps and warm, radiant smile embodying the very spirit of Hollywood's golden age. In Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, his portrayal of Caractacus Potts captivated millions of hearts. Yet behind that dazzling spotlight lay a life where resilience and real-life pain walked side by side, like two inseparable halves of the same coin. Few realized that at the height of his career, while tirelessly performing intricate dance sequences, Dick Van Dyke was quietly battling severe alcoholism, a relentless inner demon that threatened to consume him. Interestingly, his career once stood at an unexpected crossroads when he was offered the chance to replace Sean Connery as the iconic James Bond. Yet with sharp self-awareness and humility, he declined, knowing that his true essence did not belong to a world of femme fatale and gunfire, but to the art of uplifting and inspiring others. His life has also been marked by profound personal loss. He endured the heartbreak of saying goodbye to his beloved 6-year-old granddaughter and later faced the deep emptiness following the passing of his longtime partner in 2009. The most harrowing moment came in 2013, when a terrifying car accident left his vehicle engulfed in flames, nearly ending the life of a legend. Had it not been for the timely intervention of a kind stranger, the world might have lost him far too soon. Yet from fire and ashes, his spirit rose stronger than ever. As of 2026, approaching the remarkable milestone of 100 years, Dick Van Dyke is more than an actor. He is a living monument to the endurance of the human spirit. Through his life, he has written a powerful testament to resilience and optimism, proving that no matter how deep the pain, a love for life and for art can carry us through the fiercest storms and guide us safely to peaceful shores. 2. Sally and House, a faithful replacement and a love story like a fairy tale. In the world of cinema, there are roles that seem tailor-made for one star, yet a single refusal can open a golden door for another. The role of Truly Scrumptious in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was originally intended for Julie Andrews, the quintessential face of beloved British governess roles. However, unwilling to be confined within a familiar mold, she chose to step away. In that very moment, Sally and House stepped in, seized the opportunity, and transformed Truly Scrumptious into an icon of elegance and intelligence that no one else could replicate. To achieve such perfection on screen, few realized the immense effort she poured in behind the scenes. Though already a performer of considerable depth, Sally and House underwent intense, accelerated dance training to meet the film's demanding choreography. She pushed herself to exhaustion, refining every movement until each step radiated the poise of true aristocracy. That extraordinary dedication paid off as the film became a resounding success, elevating her name onto the international stage. After her golden era in film, she found her true artistic home on Broadway. There, she was not merely a performer, but a reigning queen of musical theater, where her talent and voice could shine at their fullest brilliance. Yet beyond the spotlight stood a woman deeply devoted to love and loyalty. Her life story closed like a deeply moving love song. After nearly 50 years of devoted marriage, the loss of her beloved husband left an emptiness she could not bear. Just 3 months after his passing, in December 2021, Sally and House peacefully followed, as if she had simply been waiting to reunite with the greatest love of her life. Her passing was not marked by tragedy, but by a sense of completion, a graceful finale to a life fully lived in both art and love. 3. Heather Ripley, a little flower amid the storm of fame and the journey to rediscover herself. For many audiences, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is a vibrant fairy tale brought to life. But for Heather Ripley, the 7-year-old girl from Scotland cast as Jemima Potts. It marked the beginning of a long and shadowed chapter. Instead of cherishing the sweetness of childhood memories, her experience on the film became a painful one, as she was separated from her family for the entire 14-month production. The loneliness and disorientation of unfamiliar film sets placed an immense emotional burden on a fragile young soul, one no child should ever have to bear. The hardship did not end there. While Heather struggled with homesickness, her family life unraveled as her parents went through a divorce. The pressure of media attention, the scrutiny of the public eye, and the absence of a stable emotional anchor made her adolescence more fragile than ever. In later years, she would candidly describe the experience as a thief of childhood, a film that, unintentionally, took away her most innocent years. It was the raw, aching voice of a child swept into the unforgiving machinery of fame, where artistic achievement can sometimes come at the cost of emotional well-being. Yet Heather Ripley's story does not end in bitterness. From the broken fragments of her past, she chose to heal and rise with remarkable strength. Rather than clinging to fleeting fame or lingering regrets, she discovered a new sense of purpose through social engagement. She became an active advocate, dedicating herself to environmental causes and the fight for human rights. Living a life defined by quiet resilience, Heather Ripley today stands as a testament to the power of recovery. No longer the small, vulnerable Jemima Potts of years past, she has become a woman of determination, one who has transformed her hardships into a driving force for compassion and change. Her journey proves that while a childhood may be stolen, strength of character and empathy can still shape a new life, one filled with meaning, dignity, and freedom. For Adrian Hall, the courage to walk away from fame and build new futures. In the world of cinema, people often celebrate those who rise to superstardom, yet few possess the courage to walk away from the spotlight at its brightest. Adrian Hall, the charming young Jeremy Potts in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, is one such rare case. After the film's remarkable success, he carried a burning desire to continue proving himself on screen. However, the harsh realities of Hollywood soon set in. He found himself trapped in the overwhelming shadow of Jeremy. No matter how hard he tried to evolve, in the eyes of audiences and casting directors, he remained forever the boy from the magical flying car. Rather than continuing to struggle within that exhausting confinement, Adrian made a bold and deeply thoughtful decision. He chose to close the door on acting and seek a path of his own. He understood that personal worth is not confined to roles on screen, but also lies in the ability to create meaningful impact for future generations. Walking away from fame was not a defeat. It was a turning point that allowed him to discover a deeper, more authentic calling in education. Transitioning into the academic world, Adrian proved that his talents extended far beyond the boundaries of film. With perseverance and a refined artistic sensibility, he worked tirelessly to establish himself as a respected educator. Today, he has reached the pinnacle of his new career, serving as the headmaster of a prestigious arts academy in London. In this role, he not only imparts technical knowledge but also guides and inspires young minds. Those who, like him once did, are searching for ways to break free from expectations and define their own identities. Adrian Hall's story is a profound lesson in the freedom of choice. He does not need the glow of fame to shine. Instead, he has chosen to become a source of light for others. Looking back on his journey from child actor to esteemed educator, he stands as a testament to a life of conviction, one that dares to leave the past behind in order to build something more enduring, meaningful, and transformative for the community. 5. Gert Frobe, from outcast to a silent hero in the shadows. Gert Frobe was known to the world for his commanding voice and an imposing presence that radiated menace, most memorably through his legendary villainous role in Goldfinger. Yet his life was far more than the characters he portrayed. It was a story shaped by the harsh contradictions of history itself. In the post-war years, his past was suddenly thrust into the spotlight with a shocking revelation. He had once been a member of the Nazi Party. This disclosure led to his public ostracism, with bans on his appearances in artistic works, particularly in Israel, where the wounds of the Holocaust still ran painfully deep. The name of a great talent seemed destined to be erased under the weight of stigma and judgment. Yet history is not always written by the cold ink of records alone. A remarkable turning point emerged, almost like a miracle, that would completely alter the narrative. A Jewish man, a living witness to that dark era, came forward publicly to reveal a truth long hidden. During the terrifying years of Nazi persecution, it was Gert Frobe who had risked his own life to shelter him and his family from the ruthless grasp of the Gestapo. When this act of courage finally came to light, it dispelled the shadows of public condemnation almost entirely. Gert Frobe's story stands as a powerful testament to the complexity of human character in times of turmoil. He was not a one-dimensional villain, as many had once perceived, but a man of deep humanity, someone who chose compassion even while living under one of the most brutal regimes in history. His vindication was more than a historical correction. It became a profound reminder of the importance of empathy in judging others. Through his quiet actions, Gert Frobe achieved a form of redemption that transcended words, transforming the tragedies of the past into an enduring lesson in courage and kindness. 6. Anna Quayle, a sparkling wit and a quiet final movement. In the world of cinema, there are artists who do not need to strive for attention, yet whenever they appear, the screen seems to glow a little brighter. Anna Quayle was one such rare gem. With her remarkable versatility, shifting effortlessly from icy composure to graceful humor, she brought the Baroness Bombers to life in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang with an irreplaceable vitality. She did more than perform. She mastered rhythm itself, knowing precisely when to deliver a line for laughter and when to hold back, allowing silence to give her character depth. Yet the life of an artist is not always as radiant as their roles on screen. In her later years, Anna Quayle faced a quiet and deeply courageous battle against the erosion of time and illness. She suffered from Lewy body dementia, a cruel condition that gradually steals memory, thought, and even the sharp brilliance that once defined a person. It was a profoundly challenging journey, where a woman who had once brought joy to millions was left to confront the solitude of a fading mind within the confines of her own home. And yet, until her very last days, she carried herself with the dignity of a true artist. In 2019, she passed away quietly, in the same spirit with which she had lived, humble, devoted, and never seeking the spotlight. Her departure was not marked by headlines or fanfare, but instead resembled the final, gentle note of a beautiful symphony. Anna Quayle left behind a legacy of refined artistry and the image of a woman of quiet strength, one who knew how to smile even as the world around her slowly faded into memory. Though she is gone, the laughter she once gifted to audiences remains, a lasting reminder of a talent both understated and profoundly powerful. 7. Benny Hill, behind the laughter, a quiet soul longing to be understood. On the comedy stage, Benny Hill reigned as a true king of laughter, captivating audiences with his energetic, mischievous, and exuberant performances. Yet when he stepped into the world of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang as the toymaker, he shed the mask of a comic genius to reveal something entirely different, gentle, introspective, and deeply compassionate. It was a rare moment when audiences saw another side of him, an artist who could do far more than provoke laughter, one who could touch the most hidden corners of the human heart with quiet warmth. However, his real life stood in stark and painful contrast to the joy he brought to millions. Behind the roaring applause was a man who lived in profound solitude. Despite amassing a fortune worth millions of pounds through a lifetime of dedication, he chose to live in a modest, almost austere apartment, devoid of the warmth of family life. He never married, never shared his life with a partner, and instead withdrew into a private world shaped by fame and an unspoken loneliness he himself could never fully escape. His death in 1992 became one of the most haunting tragedies in the entertainment world. It was heartbreakingly quiet, It took 2 days before anyone discovered that he had passed away alone in his apartment, still dressed in his pajamas, surrounded by the very wealth he had built, yet utterly alone. A brilliant entertainer had reached the end of his life in complete isolation, unnoticed by the world he had once made laugh. The story of Benny Hill serves as a poignant reminder of the hidden cost of fame. He devoted his life to bringing joy to others, yet when the curtain fell, he found himself without a place to share his own burdens. His life embodies a deeply moving paradox. The one who gives laughter to the world may, in the end, struggle the most to find happiness for himself. 8. Robert Helpman, the terrifying villain and the kind heart behind the mask. In the memories of generations of audiences, the image of the child catcher in American Graffiti, with his elongated nose, haunting, predatory gaze, and eerie, elusive presence, has become a timeless nightmare. Robert Helpman, through his innate acting brilliance and extraordinary physical control, transformed this character into the very embodiment of pure fear. Every step he took, every subtle gesture he made on screen, was enough to send children hiding behind their parents. Yet behind that grotesque makeup and sinister performance lived one of the gentlest and most refined souls ever to grace a film set. In stark contrast to the cruelty of his character, Robert Helpman in real life was a quiet guardian for the child actors around him. On a set filled with pressure, where raised voices and strict direction could easily frighten young performers, he was often the one who stepped in to protect them. With the patience of a mentor and the tenderness of a seasoned artist, he preserved their innocence, ensuring that their experience in filmmaking remained joyful rather than overwhelming. To his young co-stars, he was never the child catcher, but rather a comforting figure, a grandfatherly presence who could dissolve tension with a warm smile. Few people realize that before becoming an actor, Robert Helpman was already a legendary ballet dancer, known for his mesmerizing movements and exceptional technique. It was this foundation in ballet that granted him such remarkable control over his body, allowing him to craft the haunting physicality that defined his most iconic role. Beyond his artistic gifts, he was also a courageous pioneer. In an era burdened with rigid social prejudices, he chose to live authentically, openly embracing his identity with quiet defiance and dignity. Robert Helpman stands as proof that a true artist is never confined by the roles they portray. He wore the mask of a villain to fulfill his artistic purpose, yet devoted his life to spreading kindness and compassion. The child catcher may have been a source of fear on screen, but the man behind the mask remains a lasting legacy of integrity, humanity, and the freedom to be oneself. 9. Lionel Jeffries, a multifaceted artist and the charming paradox of a golden era. In the enchanting world of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the image of Grandpa Potts, a whimsical, life-loving grandfather with a flair for eccentric inventions, left a lasting impression on audiences. One delightful detail that few people know, and one of cinema's most charming paradoxes, is that Lionel Jeffries was actually 6 months younger than Dick Van Dyke, who played his son. Yet through his seasoned acting and remarkable transformation, he erased any sense of age difference, making their father-son relationship feel entirely authentic and believable. However, to remember Lionel Jeffries solely as a gifted actor would be to overlook one of the most brilliant dimensions of his career. Beyond the camera, he was also a filmmaker of sharp artistic vision and deep human insight. He was the talented director behind the success of The Railway Children, a beloved family classic that touched the hearts of millions worldwide. His storytelling was delicate and unpretentious, yet profoundly moving, revealing that he was not only a performer, but a true architect of emotion on screen. Far removed from the noise and spectacle of Hollywood, Lionel Jeffries chose a life of quiet warmth and simplicity. He found fulfillment in the fundamental values of family, embracing his roles as a devoted husband and father, while remaining detached from the excesses and pressures of fame. This conscious choice allowed him to preserve a deep sense of inner peace, keeping his passion for the arts alive in a steady, enduring way. When he passed away in 2010, Lionel Jeffries left behind a rich and meaningful artistic legacy. He never sought grand titles or fleeting acclaim. Instead, he chose to connect with audiences through sincerity and dedication. Looking back on his life, one sees the rare beauty of an artist who achieved balance between the brilliance of a creative career and the quiet serenity of personal life. His story stands as a testament to a truly fulfilled life, where artistic achievement and family happiness harmonize into a gentle, deeply resonant symphony worthy of admiration. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, a symphony of lives behind the fairy tale curtain. Looking back at Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, we see far more than a whimsical adventure of a flying car or the joyful, unforgettable melodies that captivate the heart. Beneath the sparkle of visual effects and music, the film is, in truth, a richly layered mosaic, one woven from real lives marked by hardship, resilience, and deeply human emotion. The true magic of this work does not lie in cinematic technology, but in the people who courageously poured their souls, their scars, and their unwavering beliefs into the characters they portrayed. Within the world of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, each actor represents a fragment of a life shaped by profound trials. There is Dick Van Dyke, who overcame the shadows of alcoholism to bring radiant joy to audiences. Robert Helpman, who, behind the terrifying guise of the child catcher, quietly protected and nurtured the young actors on set with compassion. And Heather Ripley, who learned to rise again after enduring the pain of a childhood disrupted too soon. These artists drew from their own lived experiences to breathe life into their roles, transforming a simple fairy tale into something strikingly intimate and profoundly human. The film's enduring success is a testament to the resilience of a collective of artists who refused to surrender to the harsh realities of life. Some found redemption through their roles, as in the case of Gert Frobe confronting his past, while others, like Adrian Hall, chose to step away from the spotlight in pursuit of deeper, more meaningful paths in education. Together, they remind us that life beyond the screen can be far more intense, and at times more miraculous, than any scripted story. The Chitty Chitty Bang Bang car did not merely soar through fantastical lands. It carried with it the dreams, the pain, and the hopes of an entire generation of talented performers. The film teaches us a simple yet powerful truth. Magic is not something supernatural. It resides in the courage to live, to love, and to devote oneself fully to one's craft, no matter how turbulent life may be. That legacy continues to soar beyond the boundaries of time, reminding us of the extraordinary individuals behind a story that, at first glance, seemed meant only for childhood dreams.